Mrs. Smith, who had a heart disease, and her point of view is she needs to monitor her heart disease in order not to get another heart attack. And we try to use all technologies, and we will show it, and now we'll stop talking.
Well, basically the idea was build a mobile app. Eventually it came out, it's a web-based NetWeaver cloud application. Best would be was cast to a native application, so you can use. Now let me start differently. This application is meant to monitor heart rate, blood pressure, things like that, to prevent a second heart stroke. In our business case, there's this female, 40 to 50 years, who had a heart attack before, and yeah, she wants to monitor her condition in order to prevent a second stroke. She's an iPhone user, and we foresee she has this device either connected directly to the iPhone, or as a bracelet, or wearing in the pocket, or on her body, to measure those data. And the data is then collected on the iPhone, uploaded to the cloud, so a general practitioner or a nurse can remotely monitor her condition and then possibly give some feedback. The application is built in NetWeaver Cloud. This is actually the loading screen. And if it then loads, she gets her personal dashboard with her current condition. Connection is a bit slow. And I'm not sure why it's so small, but basically this is it. Well, her condition is currently very bad. It's all red. You can click through to, for instance, heart rate, and then see her condition over time and possibly trending. It's based on SAP UI5 with the new graphing possibilities, thanks to Rui. It's a pity it's so small. Maybe if someone can help me with pushing the buttons. Push my buttons
anytime.
Well, thanks Fred. Here you can see her weight over time, her body mass index. As you can see, she is well, quite heavy, and her BMI is pretty high as well. There were some limitations in using SAP UI5 for the graphs, because well, it seemed not possible to use multiple graphs into one graph. So we wanted to see an upper level and a lower level, but maybe due to time constraints it wasn't possible. We had also a problem with connecting to, for instance, a HANA database or an actual backend system, because of connectivity wasn't possible. So the actual data is simulated, I have to admit, but it was due to knowledge and time constraints. Maybe you can click on how are we today. That's basically an indicator for herself, where she can indicate, well, how am I doing? If you move the slider or press somewhere, you'll get a nice smiley with how we're doing now. She's feeling a bit tipsy.
Still.
Stop. The benefit of the cloud application is you can also see her cholesterol level. That's not something you can measure for yourself. So it has to come from blood research. But of course that can come from the hospital, which is then provisioned to her application. Well, that's for my part.
1 minute left.
Yeah. So now Vienda will tell something about the middleware, where the data is coming from the backend and processed to the user interface we just saw. And after that, Derek and Roy will explain something about the HANA database and how it is implemented.
Basically, we all are from different backgrounds, and my background is more with middleware. So my focus was on how to link with data model and try to see how SAP NetWeaver Cloud capabilities could be used to achieve interaction with a backend database which is on top of NetWeaver Cloud. And this is the way we modeled our data. Like we had a patient database, patient limits and results, and actually if we would have more time we could have linked it to the SAP UI5 screens and made it really working app. But you can see this is right now on the cloud deployed, and when I click this button there are some ouch. The data will be loaded, and let me see if I can just run it locally. So when I click the button, the data is loaded and it's loaded back. It appears like this. So it's all the database interaction which is shown with the JPM model. Frans, you would like to say something about that?
Well, Derek and I are all both ABAP, so this stuff is really difficult for us. We work with, a lot with the HANA database, making also this model, wanted to connect it to this Java and stuff. And then afterwards we looked and wanted to go from the HANA database back to our ECC system, because I'm working in a hospital which uses SAP, and therefore our people working in this hospital are used to the SAP GUI. So if you can go back to the hospital in their own SAP GUI, they don't get another application, so they have to use. So it will make, in hospitals, make it much easier for people to work with than implementing a new application. So, okay, time up.
Thank you.
Questions from the jury?
Can I start?
You're speechless.
Now, I think you guys have basically about the same idea as what Group 4 has. Yeah, it's blown me away. It's for desirability, you scored very high. I like it a lot. But because this, like I said, you only get some amount of time to do it, and of course this is just like the foundation, you know. But I get your idea, and it's very nice. But I think you guys are more technical, because he explained, and I don't understand that so much. So I think this is more of a technical. Should give it to him.
I should give it to. What were your results in connection with specialists? Because I thought that was also one of the ideas, that you send the results to a specialist.
Thank you.
Yeah, we try to incorporate that in a way that we store everything in one backend system, and also when, for example, all the lights are red, there could be information to a nurse, to a specialist, but we didn't build that, and when we were narrowing down our case, that dropped off somewhere in the process. But that's why we used a backend with everything stored centrally, so that if some light is red, and somebody could be alerted, and a nurse could call our Mrs. Smith and or Miss Smith and ask, I see all lights are green, but you are feeling very bad. What's going on? And then she will get some attention, and perhaps nothing's wrong. She's just feeling not well, or perhaps something is wrong, and the nurse could discover it. But we didn't build it. But that's the backend.
Another question: have you thought about comparison with peers? So not only sending it to specialists, but also compare it with friends or group on the internet.
No, we really did not think about that. We thought about the limits. For example, where should a heart rate be, and what is the upper and lower limit, and you could compare that with other people or with a peer group, but then you should have the data available. But we didn't make any connections with other patients.
More or less,
They want to say more.
yeah, the intention was also to more get experience with what NetWeaver Cloud is offering and how we can quickly build something, and that's why we all were like UI, HANA, these guys, me with the database. We were trying to put it together. Maybe half day more we could have really achieved something all together. But yeah, still it works. It's a great thing out there. So everybody should work on it now.
And it can always be enhanced. Although one of the issues is when you want to share this kinds of information with others, not everybody wants to. Data protection and everything. So that's why we more or less said, okay, what are the good values, when is it more or less okay, and when it's really bad. And just give the information to the specialist, to the nurse who is working with you, and let them decide, okay, what actions has to be taken.
It's private information.
Yeah. Yes.
But also difficult to compare. What's good for one person may be bad for someone else, which has a lower weight or. Makes sense.
Yeah, just some general comments. I like the storyline. There's a growing amount of portals for patient communities, with hospital, with care providers to interact. Monitoring at home is more also risk bearing in a sense of privacy, but also you need to act on what's going on. So so the storyline, I like it, and the general idea, okay. I think there are monitoring. It is something there. There's a big need, but it's not still on the edge of how it should work. So for the next Innovation Jam, that will be the next step, I think, to make it.
Yeah, I think if we have the back-end system with it as well, then you have the total solution. But we had too less time and some difficulties to get it working. And it's all new to us as well. So.
No, it's great work. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the next team up